mess with Launders tonight. It's the best of one here between Justus Pro and Savage. As we said, Justus Pro kind of underperforming this season. Savage has been on the uptick all season long, and I believe is on a bit of a win streak. It may be 4 wins in a row for them, perhaps looking to make it 5. So let's see how things pan out here on the pistol round. Savage winning the ninth and opting to stick with the CT side. It's looking like Justus Pro is favoring towards long, where there are 2 CTs stacked up on the corner, and they're basically conceding Cat. They do have one pushed up mid doors at Xbox, and here comes the bunch push out of long. The nade will try to slow them down as Peter connects with that headshot. Elledge drops Valence, and they'll get the smoke off on the cross. Try to get through cleanly and get that bomb planted onto the A site. We're watching from Hades, who does have a little bit of a thread to peek through. And the jumping headshot onto Elledge. Oh my goodness. That was beautiful. Decapitates Flocky with that shot. So
wow,
now
suddenly a
brought to
2-on-2.
Just straight gun skill as Relics picks up that headshot onto Planks. Peter is the last man standing with the bomb planted. As he gets the headshot onto Hades, but Relics, he's able to drop Peter. Will he get the defuse in time? I think he does have plenty. So wow. The last man standing will get the defuse for Savage.
Wow, I'm shocked that they took that round. It was a 3v5, and then all of a sudden 3 kills went the way of Savage, and I'm not exactly sure how that happened, but I feel like Justus Pro getting the bomb down was great. Getting out long was perfect. The afterplant situation, not so great. Hades obviously coming up with 2 ridiculous frags there. Definitely made a huge difference, I think, to even it up, and the rest of his team to pull it up with Relics in the 1v1 there, taking the rounds, which could have gone either way for sure.
Yeah, that jumping headshot was pretty disgusting. I think it was the furthest terrorist from his field of view. He was behind barrels up near Goose. Just gets murdered by that jumping headshot. Hades follows it up with a second. So, of course, Justus Pro on the save, and we've got Savage with a couple of M4s, a P90, and 2 FAMASas. Justus opting for a mid to B with a late CT smoke. Here comes Elledge trying to get through window, but Dumore is there with his FAMAS. He's going to spray down 3, gets himself a 4th, as Relic contributes the last kill onto Peter. Just a massacre there on the B bomb site.
And hey, that's no small feat. 4K on the eco last year was not nearly as important as a 4K on the eco today, so definitely good that he got those 4 kills. Ended up saving his teammate equipment value in that respect, and shut them down. Weren't able to get a plant, but still going to have a buyout for Justus, so equal chance to win the round, I think, is whether or not they got the bomb down for this one.
And we're going up fast Cat with Elledge as he gets the kill on the Glorns, but traded out by Hades. Planks gets the trade out as well, so they do have the man advantage. They're going to want to work quickly, and it looks like they're going to try to come out long. The number 4 man, Valence, is smoked off in CT spawn. They'll get the clean cross, and Peter will try to plant for long, as a nade is going to land right on his head and bring him down to 42 HP just as he gets the bomb planted. Dumore and his teammate Relics are smoked off, as Relics connects with that grenade onto Peter, and Dumore the headshot onto Planks. So the last 2 remaining for the T's are Flocky and AGM, as Flocky gets a nice 2-piece spray down with headshots. Getting a 3rd onto Dumore, the defense of the bomb. Very successful there for Flocky as he gets 3 after that initial push by Savage onto the site. Nicely done.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much analysis to do there. Sick round by Flocky, getting a 3-piece when it seemed like having the cat flank in that situation was going to be a really big advantage. So he shut that down, no problem. Could have very easily turned into a 1-on-1, but kept himself and his teammate alive, won the round for them. Great round by Flocky.
And like you said, it really was anyone's round off of that bye. Justus Pro taking advantage, getting on the board. It's now 2-1. But you see Savage able to buy, and they're doing it without the head armor. Foregoing that, knowing that they're likely going up against the AKs. And this time the bomb is staged up in B tunnels. Relic's the sole site defender on B as he is smoked off the entrance. And it looks like the bomb's just going to hold position there, as they might be setting up for a mid to B. You got the number 5 man Dumore in position to contest the entrance through the double doors in mid, with 3 terrorists just on the opposite side. Here comes the smoke, He's going to call out the mid to B and rotate back to the B bomb site, taking all kinds of damage on the way. Right down to 25 HP. He's back up to that window position. Threads the needle onto planks, picking up the headshot. Relics, who is somewhat smoked off, pushes out of his position and is able to drop one of the terrorists. Peter decides to opt for the fake plant as he suspects that the CTs are just too close for him to get the plant pulled off. And they are down in the man advantages. Valens finds Peter's head. Glorin's on the flank. Gets Elish, so Savage back on the board. It'll be 3-1.
Yeah, the mid to B seemed really promising at the beginning when we saw Flocky come out mid and almost hit that headshot. I think his crosshairs in the right place, but ultimately didn't land it. I think he was running forward, trying to get out there with his teammates. But when they did, we had Valens and CT ended up getting a frag on our player that was getting in the doors, and Dumore not dying and getting in the site was super critical. So a lot of very close moments there that could have gone the way of Justus, and ultimately Savage able to just play a cleaner round.
Yeah, it is a game of inches, and that time going the way of Savage. As the initial engagements on the save come out okay for Justus Pro. They're able to drop 2. Hades drops 2 of his own. As Peter and AGM have both found themselves guns, Peter got himself a 2K on the round already, and they do have the bomb. So they have options here, as with plenty of time on the clock, Savage will likely have to split up the defense, go with 1 on each site and a swingman. We'll have to see where Justus Pro decides to go with this bomb. It's looking like they're favoring Cat, as we're watching from Peter, who, just as he goes to peek, gets pre-flashed. It was almost clairvoyant there from Savage.
I think it was teammate trying to flash him out, but ooh, nice pick.
Missed timing then. I guess I didn't see that coming, as AGM picks up the frag to even things out. It's now 2-on-2. And again, they have about 30 seconds to work with, and it's looking like they're going to make a play towards A, which is the smart play here, as it is open. The site is completely open, and it looks like they will smoke the cross, get entry. Just making sure that the usual suspect spots are clear. Peter cleared things out. He is going to get the bomb planted safely. It'll be a 2-on-2 scenario with the bomb down. Let's see how Relics and Valens do on the retake. Both of them coming from Cat. There's the pre-flash. Got 1 at Goose, 1 on site. Valens has opted to drop low. Relics staying up top. Valens is able to get 1. Looking for the second. He gets it with a little bit of distraction from his teammate, Relics. So on the retake, Savage successful. It'll be 4-1.
Yeah, just outshot in that situation. Valens with a really nice 2-piece there. Doing all the damage you need to. I don't think he missed a bullet in that situation. That leaves Savage in a 4-round lead over, a 3-round lead over Justus Pro, and a 4-to-1 round situation. Now, a full buy is going to still come out for Justus Pro, who were able to get the bomb down. Peter's going to have the op, which we know he's so very handy with, and oh wow,
Whoa!
Gets the pick on Skylar Crossing, man.
A little bit of skeet shooting there from Peter, as we will like to welcome Sparkles Leap to the CEVO sub team. Thank you very much for subbing. Welcome aboard. Starting the 6th round between Savage and Justus Pro. The opening frag going to Justus Pro onto Relics. Dumore, he turns away from the flash but cannot control his AK spray as Planks connects with the headshot onto Dumore. They have control of the B bomb site. They'll get the bomb planted. No one there to contest. It'll be a potential 3-man retake for Savage. They are all kind of far away, but they have plenty of health and a bit of utility nades to work with. But it's actually looking like with 5 alive for Justus Pro, they will opt to save their guns and live to fight another day, Launders.
Yeah. Now, it's going to mean since they have 3 guns, they have a huge opportunity to win the next round. I wouldn't be surprised if they put armor on both Dumore and Skylar. I don't know if they're going to be able to afford any weapons on the back of that. Lawrence looks like he's able to drop a FAMAS. I'm sure they'll be able to salvage another one as well. So basically another full buyout for both teams. Justus Pro able to close this gap a little bit more, you know, when you might say that they want to have at least an equally good side on T side, if anything. So ultimately the round they needed, and open it up by Peter with that really nice pick on mid.
Yeah, and so far the rounds that Justus Pro has gotten, and there's only a couple of them, have come with some struggle. You know, we saw that one round in particular where Flocky picked up the 3K at the end, where it looked like they probably weren't going to be able to pull it out, short of an amazing play like he was able to pull out. So Justus Pro having to grind out these rounds against Savage here to start out this first half. Let's see how they fare on this gun round here, as they do have a slight gun advantage. Valens short in the gun department.
Ooh, not letting Glorin stand on Cat there.
That nade connects for some serious damage. Glorin's brought down to 10 HP. As they've actually stacked Cat, have Savage. They've got Hades up there as well, as he's going to move into the point man position, having more health now. And he may run into Elish as soon as this smoke does dissipate. There's the pre-flash. Connects with the spraying headshot, looking through the smoke to see if there is another. He suspects that there's one there. It's Glorins, who is wounded and still wins the engagement, dropping Elish with the headshot.
Very important frag.
Huge frag to maintain control of Cat as Peter peeks around the corner to drop Valens in the... Oh, and the touchdown nade to follow it up. Beautiful frag, which will open up the A bomb site for Justus Pro. The remaining 2 for Savage, realizing they'll have no chance, already rotating back into B, likely to save their guns. As Justus Pro will pick up another round here. But look at AGM in position to drop relics. Dumore getting the trade out. So now he will be the last one alive for Savage, saving.
Yeah, and so, the pivotal kill at first went to Glorins, who was able to land a headshot with only 10 HP remaining. And then the 2 more pivotal kills, arguably more pivotal because they won the round, were Peters, who got the op shot on one player who was defending A, and then naded the other one, opening up the site by himself. Definitely won them the round there. So Peter already up to 9 frags, and looking like he's ready to do more. No pun intended.
Do more. As we now have Savage on the save. Justus Pro wanting to capitalize on this. They can likely even things up here. As you mentioned a few rounds ago, they certainly want to keep things even. We're talking like an 8-7, 9-6 scenario here. As they're looking a lot more comfortable after that last round win. Peter with an op on his hand. As Elish picking up a frag from lower B. Can he get the second one? Savage really likes to double stack Cat, and it looks like Justus Pro is kind of keyed into that fact. Glorin's eating another nade this round, forced to retreat. He's down to 3 HP. Justus Pro deciding not to run into the saving Savage, making sure they don't get overwhelmed by those CZs from close range. And just as I say that, Relix picks up the headshot onto Elish, and he'll get himself a gun for his troubles. Meanwhile, it looks like the number 4 man is in position to contest this Cat push. He's not able to do so. Planks gets the headshot onto Valens. They're going to move into the A bomb site, which is now completely open. And that frag from Flocky on their flank will bring it down to a 4-on-1 scenario. Bomb will get planted easily on A. Relics just looking for some potential exit kills here, as he is up against 4 Justus Pro players. And they're all pretty stacked. AGM catches Relics jumping onto the Xbox. So Justus Pro will have their first lead. Tied up, 4-4.
Tied up, yeah, and well earned and momentum based. If we take into account the momentum, we would say maybe Justus Pro is ahead. Obviously, a very pivotal round here for the first chance for Justus Pro to take a lead in the half, and also for Savage to cancel their momentum and try to take the lead back. So I think that one thing that's been really good for Justus Pro is that they have amazing entries like Planks. Flocky, I think, are performing really good entries. We have Peter making clutch plays mid-round, and those are all making the difference. Now, orchestrating the executions, I'm not sure if they're having trouble doing that, but Savage's holds have been pretty good overall. But I think that so far, Justus Pro has actually won more rifle rounds than Savage. I mean, Savage winning the pistol.
Yeah, I think you are correct. They won the pistol and the anti-eco, and then lost the 3rd round to Justus Pro, and then got back on the board after that, winning, I think, 2 more.
Yeah, so Justus actually have three rifles and an anti-eco.
And once again, we're seeing Savage essentially give up the A site as they stacked along. And Justus Pro, biding their time, has now gotten this information. Although they are now flashed, and this will slow them down. They realize the site is now clear, and they will get the plant off cleanly. 5 alive for both teams with the bomb planted. It's looking like a game of retake like you were playing the other night, Laundress.
Yeah, and Floki's going to be really interesting to watch here because he's actually not going to be able to get a frag, and so we have 2 players in the CT too long. This is a crazy retake.
Yeah, it is a crazy retake. As Shazam, welcome to the sub team. Welcome to CEVO TV. As Glorins and Valens last alive with the bomb planted. So far, the retake has been in favor of Justus Pro. Glorins and Valens saving their guns. It'll be another win for Justus Pro. Getting the exit kill is Valens. As Glorens picks up one as well. Will they get the final kill on the balance? Can he save his gun? He does. But Justus Pro taking the lead after, I think, what is that? Now 3 rounds in a row?
I thought they had a plan there for the retake. It seemed like they had really interesting spots. They had 2 guys waiting at long for our players to come up through CT. No one going through cat, so there was no one susceptible. Through the smoke.
Peter, that's the second time he's done that.
Last one was just him jumping. This one was jumping through smoke. It's got to make it more exciting every time.
He's one-upping himself at this point. And Flucky says, anything you can do, I can do better. Gets the spray down shot through the smoke. Ella's getting the frag over onto Hades at the car position. So this is, again, looking like a solid set of entries for Justus Pro. Relics and Dumore. Only one's alive. But again, this is pretty much on a save round for Savage. Justus Pro taking full advantage of their economic superiority as Relics gets a frag onto lower B, onto the lurking planks, and a second with the picked up gun onto Flocky. Very nicely done. Getting a couple of exit kills and dropping some guns there. So Relics will try to add to his kill count. He's got 2. Up against the 3 remaining Justus Pro players. Looking like AGM going for the long end around. But it'll be another round win for Justus Pro. It'll be 6-4 here in the first half. Yeah,
man, Justus obviously looking a lot stronger at this point. Savage not even attempting some of these retakes, and that's going to make a big difference. So they're handing them rounds right now, and because they aren't able to perform the retakes, like we had a 5v5 retake, which should be a pretty good advantage for Savage in the sense that, you know, a 4v4 retake is a lot harder than I think a 5v5 retake. That might be debatable, but that's how I see it, and they weren't able to even bring that close. So that's a big problem. You know, they keep giving up A, and it's because Justus are once again able to get the entries, and Savage are also not able to perform retakes, as you mentioned.
Yeah, so all the momentum has now swung over to Justus Pro's side as Savage decides to get aggressive here, flashing into the B tunnels, getting the frag there, but on the mid to B, they've already wrapped below those 2 pushing B players, and they're able to eliminate them. They have control of the B bomb site. They'll get the bomb planted as they've smoked off CT. So just when you think Savage would clue into the fact that Justus Pro is dialed into A, they move over to B now and successfully take that site, get the bomb planted in this important gun round. As once again, it looks like Savage is going to be forced to save them. We've been seeing them do a lot of that, and this is only kind of early in this game, in the first half. And here we got, but they got a lot of money in these kits. So, you know, they don't want to throw them away trying to get that retake on a B, and that's kind of been the thing. It seems like when Justus Pro is taking a site, they're taking it convincingly.
Yeah,
and they're having a huge advantage when they do get the bomb planted, and it's just a losing battle for Savage to go on the retake.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, you know, you wouldn't look at the score and think that Savage have won any of those rounds recently, because Justus are starting to run away with this. I mean, they're looking super strong right now. They're playing their advantage. They're getting almost every entry that they asked for, and that's going to mean that, you know, they have the lead that they do. So at this point, the pistol round is starting to mean less and less. Justus are looking to make this an 11-4 half in the sense that they haven't lost a round recently, and they've got so much money left to buy. Every entry. And I think you're muted again.
Yeah, every entry, like you said, Launders, and it was long this time, as they pick up 2, they smoke the cross, they move up successfully to the ramp, having not lost a single player. A little bit of damage. They'll plant safely behind the box with the cross smoke. And curiously enough, it's Relics, Hades, and Dumore again. But it looks like they may actually try for the retake this time, saying enough is enough. We need to win some rounds here. Here comes Dumore through the smoke, loses his life. Relics doesn't even have a chance to think about saving, gets taken down, and Justus Pro winning without losing a single player that round.
I mean, let's just take a look at the money right now. We've got almost every player with, I mean, besides that last buy from Planks, everyone had over 10K. That's an absurd amount of money, and they didn't force one rebuy that last round. So every single round that goes by, Justus Pro are winning it even more convincingly than the last times. I don't know how they're going to outdo themselves this round, but if Savage don't have a plan to deal with this, then it's going to be a really big issue.
Yeah, very surprising to see Justus Pro just kind of manhandling on the entries. There's another stack by Savage onto Catwalk. Gets the even trade out. Dumore pushing from B-Tons. Gets one, but shot as he's tried to retreat. Brings it to a 3-on-2. And the remaining 2 CTs are smoked off in CT spawn. Glorens pushes through the smoke, as does Valens. Bomb will get planted at the B site with the double doors smoked. And there's a molly at the window. Nice use of utility nades by Justus Pro to make it a hard retake for Savage. But it does look like they are going to go for it. Glorens coming through the smoke. Picks up one. It's up to Valens as Glorens is dropped. Faking that he can actually stick the defuse. He's not going to do it. Picks up Peter and he will win the round. Huge clutch by Valens to get Savage back on the board here in the second half. It'll be the first half, excuse me, it'll be 8-5.
Crazy. 8 HP. Did 100 damage with 8 HP. Yeah, super huge clutch. Clutch they needed. It seemed really unlikely that they were going to be able to win, even though Dumore was able to get that nice push kill on the upper B tons. He got traded out really quickly. Their mid to B was successful. 2 players down to B. They knew no one was in the site. They got the bomb down. They lost the retake from a good clutch.
They got a little bit of luck in that, too, as Glorens pushed through the smoke and windows and got that initial entry frag to even it up. And then I think he did some damage before he lost his life, and then ultimately, like you said, Valens able to clutch it. Whew. Flirting with fire is Savage. They get back on the board. Here in round 14, again, another gun round. No ops for Savage, but Peter with an op for the terrorists.
And so one thing to notice is this time they've actually contested the long push long enough so that they aren't actually just running up long and trying to get entries versus a team where they're able to get most of their entries. Instead, we have Savage smoking it off, counter flashing, making it really unfavorable for them to actually go through that, and that heavy presence has actually paid off a lot. So it seems like they're adapting well to the strat of Justus Pro, but the entries are still a big problem. The entries are too strong right now.
Yeah, that was surprising. I'm not really sure why Glorens felt he needed to rush through the smoke there at Cat. He likely had intel there were at least a few there. There were actually 3, so he quickly loses his life as that headshot by Flocky onto Valens will get them control of the A-bomb site once again. It'll be a clean plant as Relics is able to drop Flocky. AGM getting Hades, so it's now a 1-on-3 scenario. It's all up to Relics. Will he be able to work some magic here for his team? Completely surrounded, but he's able to drop AGM with that headshot from his M4. He knows Peter is out long with that op. He's got one more to contend with on Catwalk. Reloads his gun. He's in a precarious position here. Steps out into the open. Peter eliminates him with the op. It'll be 9-5 in favor of Justus Pro going into the last round of the half.
Yeah, a worse team would have absolutely PCAT in the situation. But either way, it was planted for long and basically planted for Cat, so there was no reason for anyone to peek, and that's all they had to do to win the round. If Skylar had won that, it would have been a huge mistake on the side of Justus. But at this point, 5-9, and I think any half isn't too bad on Dust 2, just in general. But the fact that Justus Pro seem to be performing way stronger and pulling out rounds super convincingly and just stacking money and barely losing players and just winning every entry frag. I think that means more than the actual score itself.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Savage just buying up whatever they can, which wasn't much this round. So it'll likely be a convincing 10-5 half for Justus Pro. And what started pretty well for Savage just really kind of fell apart by about the 6th, 7th round of this half. And it's been all Justus Pro since then.
Yeah, one round in the middle with that huge clutch, and even though clutches win games, you can't rely on them too.
Whew. Yeah, you're really flirting. You're playing with fire, flirting with trouble, so to speak, by having to rely on those huge plays to win rounds. You need to be able to manufacture some round wins if you're struggling, as it will conclude 10-5 in favor of Justus Pro. Let's see if Savage can turn things around here in the second half. You're watching CEVO TV. I'm Mess, joined by Launders tonight in a triple header. 2 of those games going to be Justus Pro, and they're looking pretty strong as what many would consider the underdogs here again in this first match against Savage.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it's affected the odds for the next match, but ultimately Savage pick CT ended up with a pretty weak half overall, not looking too strong. I think that they won't have a problem adjusting and or feeling comfortable playing T-side, obviously, but ultimately it seems like Justus are just playing better overall as a team, and I don't think that the side really dictates how well the team should be doing, but just the fact that they picked it should mean something, as opposed to which side they picked.
Yeah, you would think you'd want to start off on the stronger foot, get yourself some round wins, and hopefully, a lead going into the second half. But unfortunately, Savage forced to play from behind here. Kicking off the second half, they'll need to win this pistol round to have a chance, you would think. Unless they're just extremely stellar and flawless when they do get guns in their hands. They don't have many rounds to play with.
Yeah, that's kind of it. You just want more rounds to play with. So, I mean, if they lose a pistol, it's not necessarily over, but it's definitely really close to over.
It's going to make it a struggle moving forward. So,
yeah,
we see an early push by Justus Pro through mid. They're going to rotate over to Cat, the A side where they left it open essentially. Van Lund's getting a little bit of intel as the solo man out long. And it's looking like an execution onto B. Here comes the other 4 of Savage. They go one at the back of the site. It's Peter. He drops Hades. They haven't been able to take out one. There's a second. There's another at the door. Glorin's getting 2 headshots to get control of the site, but it's a quick rotate by Justus Pro as Ellige gets the frag there through the door before the smoke drops. Bomb is planted. It's all up to Ellige, and Glorin's with the 4K.
Wow.
Huge round by Glorin's to get the pistol round to kick things off right for Savage in the second half.
Great shooting. I mean, the only other kill I think was the nade kill. That would have been his ace if his nade landed second, I think. But yeah, that was a huge 4K, all headshots. Super good pistol round from him. A player who I think was at the bottom of the scoreboard right before that round. So showing up when they needed him was Glorin's.
Absolutely. Stellar individual play there as a bit of a fast cat by Justus Pro. Hades keeping him honest from the suicide position. And Dumore is in great position to decapitate Ellige. 2 initial frags for Savage to start off the second round. On the Eco, Justus Pro pretty much just went with luxury pistols as Dumore is close to another player. It's Planks! The quick, we'll call it 45-degree turn there, connects as Glorins gets himself one this round to bring it to the last man standing. It's Peter. Has to back off with that nade. He's brought down to 73 HP. They'll get the intel that the A-bomb side is open. Move in for the plant. And Peter will go for the long rotate to see if he can get himself some kills as he's now just kind of walking through B-tons.
Yeah, and you know, winning that pistol round I think was pretty crucial for both teams. Even though Justus Pro have such a big lead, I think they really wanted to win it.
Frags.
Now they brought it close, but they weren't able to close it out, and they've got to live with that. So they aren't going to be buying, I think, next round. That's going to bring this a lot closer. Oh, Peter finding a very, very valuable 5-7, but if you could drop a gun, if you could trade out for one of these kills, it'd definitely be worth it over saving this.
And Savage is actually on the hunt. They're trying to find him. He's kind of sandwiched here, but they haven't clued into the fact that he is in lower. Looking like he might survive. Oh, does some serious damage to Hades. And Dumore, stepping out from mid-doors, ultimately drops him. Nicely done there. And Hades just barely surviving. He's thanking his teammate there.
Yeah, better on CT than on T to die after the timer, but another save out for Justus Pro. They're going to be able to get a couple of nades if they wanted to run some kind of strat, but yeah, they're going to be stacking A here, it seems like, and yeah, going right for it. So they're anticipating this, and they see the flashes out, so they got to be a little bit happy about that.
Yeah, they are on the save, are Justus Pro. Savage looking to bring it within 2. As Peter and Flocky both combined to get kills with their pistols on that long push. Hades taking some serious damage before he's able to bring down Flocky with his Galil. And that nade lands right on top of Peter's head. Great 2-piece there from Hades, who was brought down to 11 HP before he got those frags, bringing it to a 3-on-3 scenario. But Justus Pro has 2, defending the A-bomb site, which is exactly where Savage seems to want to go with this. But unfortunately, both those guys are wounded as Planks picks up the USP shot onto Hades. That's dropping the bomb. Dumore gets 2 with the 180 Galil kills, bringing it to a 2-on-1 in AGM. Poor AGM only has 6 HP. Just a pistol. This is looking dire for him. Just going to peek from long and try to do some damage as the bomb gets planted. Dumore extremely wounded. And the touchdown nade from Relics, the bank shot, the Larry Bird connects for Savage.
The nades have been great this game. And Dumore getting the most important 2K, I think, of the half so far. So that was really good. He had really low health, ended up hitting both of his sprays nicely, or his bursts, and that, you know, he was on low health. I think he had the bomb too. So if he had died, that round might have been in complete jeopardy. But instead, he turned it and saved it. So clutch play from Savage right now.
And that was another round that Savage had to work for. Kind of looked a little bit like Justus Pro did last half, where when they were winning their early rounds, kind of having to grind them out before they really got it going and started to win convincingly. So I have to see if Savage can do something similar here in the second half, as this game is getting closer and closer as the rounds continue. 10-8 here in round 19. 5 alive for both teams, and it's looking like Savage trying to take control of Cat. They've got 2 there. Number 5 man and the number 2 man. They're smoked off, just trying to grab a little bit of intel to see who is defending on the A site, as Justus Pro has 1 pushed along, 1 on the A site. And somewhat favoring B, as they've already lost AGM. Meanwhile, Savage definitely looking like they're telegraphing a bomb site push, as they've got their nades out at Catwalk. Really no one contesting long yet, just waiting on the push. Here come the nades, here comes the push. Let's see if Elush can hold them off. He gets 1, has to reload though, and Dumore makes him pay for it. There's still 1 out long, and that's Peter. But he was brought down, and now it's Planks all on his lonesome over at B. The bomb gets planted at A, and he'll save his gun to live to fight another day. Savage will bring it within 1. It'll be 10-9 after this round's over.
Yeah, that was a really good take. Now, with the 10-9 score line, Justus Pro are worried because they lost the pistol. They lost a round that they almost won on an eco. Even the fact that it was an eco, I mean, it doesn't mean that they're not going to be feeling bad about the fact that they almost had it closed out. Now, I don't think that's going to affect them in the scope of things. Obviously, score-wise, it affects them, but ultimately, the fact that they weren't able to win the rifle to follow is going to be kind of a big hit on top of all of those rounds. So just losing rounds in general is bad no matter what the rounds are, but losing the rifle after having such a huge lead in the first half is going to be a big hit, I think, to the team here. Now, Plank's the only one with a gun. I don't know if they're going to be able to buy behind this. No, they aren't. So they're going to be counting on him to maybe drop a couple guns or save if possible. But Savage ultimately starting to look stronger than Justus Pro. Maybe just showing us that T side is still the better side to be on Dust too.
Yeah, at least for these guys. But we'll have to see if Justus Pro, much like in the first half, can weather the early storm of Savage and then turn it around in the later rounds. Opening frag going to Relics. Drops AGM as we see a stack in middle by Justus Pro, and the bottom man on the totem loses his life, forcing Flocky down to the bottom. Glorin's pulling out his pistol to finish things off with Dumore. They'll even things up with that round. It's now knotted up at 10.
Yeah, and we'll see if entries are the name of the game here in this game in general, because I think in the first half we saw it was just prevalent that Justus Pro were nailing the entries, I think, 10 times out of 10. It didn't seem like a round went by that they won that didn't come from the fact that they were able to hit their entries coming up Cat, coming up mid to B, through B tons, or anywhere pretty much. So
yeah, long as well, yeah.
Yeah, and if Savage are able to, long as well, so whoa.
They like the stack, do Justus. They did it mid last round, they did it Cat this time. Unsuccessful both times, though. Dumore will run through the fire and connect with a headshot onto Planks, onto the center of the A site. Just like you said, Launders, the name of the game has been entries here.
Yeah.
As both teams seem a lot more comfortable. Oh my goodness. On T side, that shot by Hades was just nasty.
Yeah. 2 players on Savage here, over 20 kills, both of them entry fraggers. So no surprise that the score is now in Savage's favor. Now they're taking the lead here, 11-10 in a game that seemed like Justus Pro had a really good chance of winning. I think after the first half, I would have said Justus Pro 80% take this game, but at this point, I say their odds are down to like 20%, considering they haven't won a rifle yet.
And if things continue, your pred might be pretty spot on, Launders. We'll see, as it's now 11-10. Savage having all the momentum here in the second half, waiting for the push from Justus Pro, which comes out of B. Isolates the one-man Valens, and they'll pick up a gun as a result. But the number 3-man Glorins, he's in position in suicide to contest. He's actually going to join his teammates out long. Trying not to get isolated. He does. Peter will find himself a free gun as well. So this is actually a pretty successful save thus far for Justus Pro. They've dropped 2 guns without taking too much damage from themselves, but they've given up the A site. Bomb has not been planted quite yet. Relic's going to try to plant for long. He will be able to do so, planning for his teammate Hades, who is in pit.
Oh, not able to get the frag.
Oh, he missed the op shot. He's going to get swarmed. His teammate Relics keeps him alive from the A site as Hades has opted to his CZ. He's kind of stranded in pit, and lucky for him, the 2 CTs will retreat. They just don't think they can win this retake, despite the fact that they kind of had Hades isolated in pit there.
Yeah, he was definitely sent a lifeline by his teams who I think it was Glorens? Or no, who was that?
Relics who got that frag.
Right, Skylar on the crossfire. So that was super huge by them. And yeah, that could have been shaky if they got long control, but they didn't end up doing that. Now, Peter, is he going to save this gun? No, he isn't. Okay, so that's a big deal too. The money, not doing too bad for Justus, but it doesn't really matter. You know, you have to win a round ultimately. Otherwise, it won't matter how much money you're spending. And Peter's going to have his op. Now, Alicia's going to have his op as well. So that could be what they need. I wouldn't be surprised that if both of these players get a pick each. Ooh.
True, they're going with the double op look this time.
Yeah.
Desperate times call for desperate measures. Justus Pro trying to get something going here in the second half after they were leading 10-5. Starting on CT side, just can't seem to put it together here on T side.
Yeah, Peter taking some early damage there to the op of Hades. Now they've given up mid control. I think Peter playing mid in that situation wouldn't have been a good idea anyway, considering he would be taking a ton of A damage, especially considering the fact that they know he's hurt. And oh, a headshot puts him down.
The one tap from Relics connects onto Peter at the back of A plat. And look at this. He jumps up onto the box behind the smoke. Flocky with the counter flash is able to translate that into a kill onto Hades. AGM picks up one of his own. Justus Pro trying to get some defense going here in the 23rd round. Lige is in great position, but he cannot connect with that op shot, and they've closed the distance on him. That's unfortunate. Flanks loses his life as Dumore connects on to second. AGM, the last man standing. He's going to rotate from Cat. There's 2 left for Savage. They've got Cat smoked off as Valens is in good position to drop AGM if he decides to push through this smoke.
Man, Dumore just... Whoa. Damn. Yeah, these headshots, man. There's no room for missing in this game, and Dumore just freeberging that, jumping over A, getting an extra kill that he wasn't supposed to by hitting that headshot right off the bat, and traded out long, but ultimately around that Savage took with just super sick entries. They're playing picks and they're winning, and Justus Pro still yet again have not won a ruffle round yet, and even though they have money to buy, it won't matter. They're down and up now. And I don't know, because they're really shutting down Peter, I think, which is a big part of their strategy that's working. And if you're not able to give up an op frag or get an op frag yourself, that can make the difference in the round.
Yeah, you're expending so much cash rebuying that gun as we look at Savage on the flip side, just building up huge bankrolls. So even if Justus Pro can, turn this into 2 or 3 round wins to even it up, Savage likely going to be able to rebuy pretty consistently here. We're in round 24. Justus Pro trying to get something going here. Have not been able to pick up a round yet in the second half. Full gun round, taking their time here. And slow play from Savage. Interesting. They've basically conceded Cat, have Justus Pro. They've got the number 7 man. Peter connecting on Valens, who was trying to go over the top from Cat to get to middle. Through CT, he's not able to do so as Flocky connects with his FAMAS. So this is looking like a better round for Justus Pro, one they potentially win. Dumore tries to even things up, but AGM connects with that headshot. It's down to Glorens and Dumore. Glorens extremely wounded, only has 2 HP, and he will get taken out by AGM, last man alive. For the terrorists is Dumore, he is completely cornered. AGM gets himself a 3K on the round, and Justus Pro finally on the board here in the second half. Yeah,
I mean, they were able to keep Peter alive. He ended up getting a pick, a very important one. They brought that down to a 3v5, and they just whittled him down. They handled that pretty methodically. So good on Justus Pro for winning that round. And the scores are close enough that you could say there's still hope for them. But I think a lot is to be said on this round specifically to see if they're able to not just win a one-off. They look strong enough though. Stronger than Pink did in that last game that we saw to say,
Oh, wow. Some serious aggression from Peter, pushing up Cat with the op. He's able to get one, but unfortunately the closer man was there to take his life. So 2 CTs already off the field of play. That's Peter and Flocky as they are only able to take one. And again, as you said, Launders, that op dropped early. It's a lot of money off the board already for Justus Pro as Glorin connects with that headshot on the AGM in middle, which will pretty much open up the B site as soon as Savage gets this intel. Elige is able to drop Dumore at Catwalk. It won't matter that much as they now know that B is open and they got the bomb planted. So Justus Pro really has no choice but to go for this retake. And it'll be a 2-on-3 scenario. We're watching from Elige, who's going to come through the window, connects onto Relics, piercing through the box. Planks has already made it into the site. Sees one below him, but it doesn't matter. Glorns and Hades combined to drop the remaining 2 CTs. Savage winning the round.
Yeah, able to open up B, just take it with the mid to B. I think they knew it was empty when they got there. Double checked all the spots or whatever, but got the bomb down, defended in a very textbook after plant situation, and closed out that round no problem. And like I said, Justus Pro were able to win 1 round out of 6 rifles, I think, but they really needed to prove themselves there. I guess I thought it was not only for their confidence, but now for the fact that they don't have money to buy.
Yeah, and that was really surprising to see them be so cavalier with that op, with Peter pushing up Catwalk like that. I guess you're playing the odds, but in that situation, they gambled incorrectly as the rush came down Catwalk 3 strong, and Peter was able to get 1 frag, but immediately traded out, and that's not what you want from an op. You don't want a one-on-one trade out.
Yeah.
As here we go. It's going to be a long push for Savage. Dumore gets 2 on the Flocky and Elige. The cross is smoked.
Wow.
They aren't even worried about planting. Hades gets himself a 2K. Dumore adds 2 of his own.
Yeah, that was real quick, and that's the 15th round for Savage. Justus Pro got to win 4 in a row. We've seen it happen before, but the story isn't told by just the score that we see in front of us. It's that Justus Pro have only won a single round on CT side. It was 1 rifle round. It was well earned, but they weren't able to keep it up, and it was 2 rounds ago. They've lost 2 rounds since then. Only 1 rifle, but ultimately they need a new plan and they need to implement it now.
And perhaps playing just a little too recklessly as Hades says, "What up, though?" Getting the entry into long with 2 headshots back to back. Flocky, he gets decapitated as well by Dumore. It's a horrible smoke for the cross. We'll have to send another. Using those nades to get the cross as Dumore's down to 12 HP. But it's up to Peter and AGM. Now just AGM, and he gets taken out, both of them, by Relics. Savage coming from behind in the second half to win 16-11 over Justus.